Have you ever seen a house encircled by a medieval-style moat right in the middle of a modern city? My HOA president, Linda, banned all fences because she wanted a clear, open view straight into my life. But when she ordered my wall torn down, she had no idea she was unleashing something far worse. I replaced my fence with a deep water trench and filled it with terrifying predators. Last night, she tried to cross it, and let's just say, she ended up taking an unexpected swim. Make sure you subscribe to the channel right now and click the bell icon so you don't miss any future videos. It all began when Linda decided my right to privacy violated community guidelines. I had installed a beautiful wooden fence to keep my dog safe and stop her from snooping, but Linda despised it. She claimed it disrupted the neighborhood's visual flow. One morning, I woke up to the sound of chainsaws. I rushed outside and saw a construction crew literally cutting my fence in half. Linda stood there with a clipboard, wearing a smug smile. She told me, according to the new bylaws passed yesterday, no vertical structures over 2 feet are allowed. I was livid. Without the fence, my yard became her personal playground. She started using my lawn as a shortcut to the mailbox. She'd stroll right past my living room window, stop, and peer inside to see what I was watching on TV. It was creepy. She even let her irritating little poodle do its business on my front porch and didn't bother cleaning it up. When I confronted her, she shrugged and said, "It's open space now, Alex. Get used to it." I felt completely exposed in my own home. I couldn't even host a backyard barbecue without her wandering over to critique my grilling technique. She brought potential home buyers onto my lawn, showing them how open the neighborhood was, treating my property like a model home. I knew I couldn't build another wall or she'd just tear it down again and fine me thousands. I needed a barrier that wasn't a structure, something that would physically stop her while still technically following her ridiculous rules. That's when I remembered a history documentary about castles. If you can't build up, you build down. I spent the entire night reading the HOA rulebook, searching for words like hole or trench. The rules were very clear about vertical structures, walls, hedges, fences, but said nothing about water features or ponds. In fact, the HOA encouraged eco-friendly water features to attract wildlife. That was my golden ticket. The next morning, I rented a mini excavator. Linda watched from her window, looking confused but never stopping me. I dug a 4-foot deep, 5-foot wide trench around the entire perimeter of my front yard. It looked like a disaster zone, but technically it was a koi pond. I lined it with heavy-duty black plastic and filled it with water from my garden hose. Just like that, my house became an island. To reach my front door, I built a small wooden plank that I could pull in at night, a literal drawbridge. But I knew water alone wouldn't stop Linda. She was stubborn enough to wade through mud if it meant catching me breaking a rule. I needed something intimidating. I couldn't put real alligators in there, obviously illegal. So instead, I went online and ordered 3 high-end remote-controlled alligator heads. They looked terrifyingly real with reflective eyes and detailed scaly skin. I added a hidden underwater pump to make the water ripple ominously, creating the illusion that something massive was moving beneath the surface. I floated the gator heads in the moat and tested the remote. They glided silently through the water. Perfect. I placed a small sign that read, "Caution, Wildlife Sanctuary." It wasn't even a lie. Frogs had already moved in. Now all I had to do was wait for the HOA queen to invade my territory again. I didn't have to wait long. 2 nights later, I saw the familiar beam of a flashlight sweeping across my front yard. I sat in the dark with my drawbridge pulled up, holding the remote. Linda marched toward the moat, clearly expecting to walk right up to my window. She shined her light on the water. "What on earth is this?" she muttered. She tested the edge with her foot. She was actually planning to jump it. She backed up for a running start. This was my moment. As she prepared to leap, I nudged the joystick. The 3 alligator heads, hidden beneath lily pads, suddenly surged toward her. I pressed a button that made their jaws snap open and shut. Linda froze mid-step. Her flashlight caught the glowing yellow eyes rushing toward her ankles. She screamed, "Gators, help!" and tried to spin around, but she slipped on the muddy bank. With a huge splash, she fell face first into the trench. It wasn't deep enough to drown, but it was more than enough to soak her. She thrashed around in the muddy water, fighting off the toy alligators, screaming like she was in a horror movie. "Get them off me! They're eating me!" she yelled, smacking a plastic gator head bobbing beside her. I turned on the porch lights and stepped outside, looking concerned. "Linda, are you swimming in my pond?" She crawled out of the moat, covered in mud, slime, and algae, looking like a swamp monster. She didn't even catch her breath before calling 911, screaming that I had wild animals on my property. When the police arrived, they approached carefully, hands near their holsters, expecting a dangerous animal situation. Linda was shivering, pointing at the moat. "He has alligators." They attacked me. "Arrest him for attempted murder." The officer shined his spotlight into the water and saw the floating gator head. He looked tense. I calmly walked over, picked up the remote, and drove the gator right up to his feet. Then I reached down and lifted the plastic toy. "Officer, it's a remote-controlled boat. I collect them." He stared at the toy, then at Linda, and burst out laughing. "Ma'am, you called 911 for a toy." Linda turned bright red. But the trench is illegal." The officer shook his head. "It's a water feature on private property. Why were you trying to cross it at night?" He realized she had been trespassing. He told her, "You can't just wander onto someone's yard and fall into their pond." He wrote her a ticket for misuse of emergency services and warned her to stay off my island. Linda squished back to her house, soaked and humiliated, while neighbors cheered from their windows. I still have the moat. The birds love it. And Linda hasn't set foot on my property since. I guess she learned that even without a fence, my house is a fortress. If you loved seeing the moat lady get soaked, hit the like button and subscribe for more revenge stories.